Kayden McDonald commits to Ohio State University, and Oklahoma fans are freaking out. And I'm here to tell you all that you all need to calm down and y'all need to pump the brakes a little bit. But before we get into it, please go ahead, hit that like and subscribe button. Let me know what you guys are thinking down in the comments below. We're not going to have a specific question for you to answer today, but I just want to hear your thoughts about the whole situation that's going on with Oklahoma recruiting and the defensive line. So, on October 31st, Kayden McDonald committed to Larry Johnson, Ryan Day, and the Ohio State Buckeyes. And this was a recruitment that a lot of Sooner fans really felt good about. We thought we had Kayden McDonald in the bag. You started to hear rumblings of Ohio State later in the game, but Oklahoma fans still felt pretty confident, and rightfully so. Ultimately, this was going to come down to a game time decision for Kayden McDonald and where he was going to go, and he ended up selecting the Buckeyes. But now you have a lot of Sooner fans not only now questioning whether Brent Venables is the right guy for the job, but they're questioning whether Todd Bates is, I guess, living up to the hype of what we thought he was going to be. And quite frankly, he hasn't recruited like everybody thought he would, but it's only his first real recruiting cycle with the Sooners. I get it. They had some the last year that they could get, and they got some great players in Grayson Halton and R. Mason Thomas, and there were 3 other guys on that defensive line class. But those are just the 2 that really stick out to you. But you got to be able to give Todd Bates and Brent Venables time here, right? Because when I look at the statistics for what Oklahoma is putting out on the defensive side of the ball, you're letting up 438 yards per game here. 248 of those are through the yard, 189 on the ground. You're letting out 28.8 points per game to your opponents. You can't realistically tell me that a recruit is going to pick a destination like Oklahoma over a place like Alabama or Georgia or Iowa or even Ohio State, who I think is playing really well this year. And when you look at it, the coaches like Larry Johnson and Pete Golding and these guys at these other programs, they have more to show at the programs that they are at. Brent Venables and Todd Bates can point to what they did at Clemson. They can point to Brian Breesy, and Brent Venables can point to all of the other guys that he recruited, whether it was Christian Wilkins or Andrew Booth or Trenton Simpson or RJ Washington or any of those guys that he has recruited over his tenure just being a defensive coordinator, whether it was at Oklahoma or Clemson. Because when you look up and down the board of Brent Venables' resume, like, the man shows out. Now, Todd Bates, he's working his resume up. He's getting there. But I wouldn't say that Todd Bates isn't doing a good job. Ultimately, you have to look at it and go, if you're the Oklahoma Sooners, you've got more of a problem with trying to just fix the defense so that you can start enticing recruits to want to be able to come play here. Because if I'm a recruit and I see what is being put out on the defensive side of the ball and what has been historically put out on the defensive side of the ball for the past 10, 12 years for Oklahoma, it's not very good. And I see a lot of fans going, oh, well, they missed on Hicks. Okay, well, I don't think the Hicks recruitment is over yet. So we're not going to necessarily say we've lost Hicks completely yet. But I hear people saying, what about Peter Woods or Deshaun Womack or Vic Burley or Jason Moore? Okay, well, for one, all 4 of those guys were offered while Todd Bates has been here in Oklahoma and Brent Venables has been here in Oklahoma, but they haven't taken visits. So I don't see how you can say that we missed on them when they haven't even taken a visit here. If the recruit doesn't take a visit here, then ideally they probably didn't even want to come here in the beginning. Now, they offered them because of the relationship they had when they were there at Clemson. Ultimately, Peter Woods and Vic Burley decided to continue to go play at Clemson and continue their career there where they were recruited. Makes sense, right? Jordan Renaud, we lose him to Alabama. It's as simple as this. Jordan Renaud wanted to go to a place where he knew he could be developed, right? He saw what Nick Saban and that staff has produced at Alabama for the past 10 to 12 years. And yes, Brent Venables and Todd Bates and those guys could have probably developed Jordan Renaud just as well. But Jordan Renaud probably looked at the success that Alabama had and said, okay, I can go either place, get developed, but Alabama has a success behind it. And they're in the SEC, right? Rebuen Baines and Markis deal, they have not committed yet, even though I personally think we're out of both of those. I think Rebuen Baines is going to go to Miami, and I think Markis deal probably ends up going to Georgia or TCU. But you look at Derrick Leblanc. Derrick LeBlanc was a huge pickup by Todd Bates. People are kind of missing the point behind Derrick LeBlanc and why he's so big. One, he's a leader on the defensive side of the ball, right? Todd Bates just didn't get a guy that can go out there and play. He got a leader. He got a guy that's going out there and actively recruiting guys to come play with him. And he's getting a guy that is putting out production. In 2020, this guy had 65 tackles, which was his junior year, or his sophomore year. Sophomore year. In 2020, he had 65 tackles, 17 for loss, 15 sacks, and 1 forced fumble. And when you look at, what he's doing, he's preparing himself and building himself to be able to come play at the Power 5 level. And I like Derrick LeBlanc a lot. He's probably going to be a guy that's inside the top 100 players. So he hit right there. Can we not give him credit for Derrick LeBlanc? Because I think Derrick LeBlanc's going to be a great asset to this team. And that was a great pickup. Because, it's nice to have the 5-star guys. But I think what a lot of fans are missing is sometimes it's just as great to have a 3 or a 4-star guy that can come in and bring leadership and is teachable. Because here's the thing. Let's just say I'm a 5-star. I'm not going to pick on any of these guys up here, but let's just say I'm a 5-star defensive lineman. I'm the number 1 player in all the defensive linemen. I'm the number 1 defensive lineman in the country. And let's just say I think that I can go first round. I might not be as teachable as a guy like Derrick LeBlanc is, or any of the other guys that we have in this class, like a Colton Vasek or a PJ Adebawore. I might not be as teachable. So now you get a guy in there like LeBlanc who is already putting in the work, already putting in the effort, not a 5-star guy. Right now he's not a top 100 guy, but he's a leader and he is teachable. So you can go in there and you can develop him, and he could be better than probably any of the other defensive linemen in this class. You never know. He could end up being a first-round pick. He could end up being that guy. So I understand it's nice, it's flashy to have the stars, but you got to give the staff time. And it's not always about the stars here. I know sometimes we make a big deal about it on our videos, but that's because they make for good videos. It makes for a good headline when you say 5-star David Hicks has committed to Oklahoma. That gets you guys to come watch our videos. But guess what? Sometimes the impact of a 4-star Derrick LeBlanc is just as big as a pickup of 5-star defensive line Peter Woods. You might not see it right away, but over 3 or 4 years, you might see a better impact because Peter Woods might go after 3 years. Derrick LeBlanc might stay 4 years. I think Oklahoma fans need to calm down a little bit. I get it, right? Edric Hill, we lost that one. But people have to understand that this staff, they have to prioritize players. You can't just go after everybody. You see Alabama throw out 200-plus offers every year. They don't land everybody, but they got to throw them all out there. But then they have to go out there and prioritize their players. And it's the same thing here, right? OU's throwing out the offers, and then they're prioritizing the players by who they think they can get, who they think they have the best shot with. And unfortunately, you're not going to come out on top every time. And probably for this year, And maybe next year, you're going to see Oklahoma maybe not come out on top of these battles. But as the defense gets better, as Brent Venables and Todd Bates can show these players that, hey, we are improving this defense. We are improving in getting players to the league, getting them higher up in the draft rounds. Now, all of a sudden, this changes the mentality of what these players want to do and where they want to go play. Also, you're playing in the Big 12 right now. You're not in the SEC yet. Right now, it looks like 2025. And you're not in the Big 10. The Big 10 and the SEC are the two most dominant conferences right now in college football, especially in terms of recruiting. So, you know what? It's time, guys. Give them time. Stop ripping Brent Venables and Todd Bates on here because they don't satisfy you in getting a 5-star guy. Getting a 3 or 4-star guy is okay. Look at Brent Venables' track record in getting a 3 or 4-star guy and developing them to be a great player. Go look at it. Up and down the board. He's got them. And you know what? I have full faith and confidence that next year, you're probably going to see a 5-star defensive lineman with this class. Maybe 2, maybe 3. You never know. In 2025, probably going to be even better. You have to give the staff time. Because ultimately, how does it look for a recruit to see Oklahoma Twitter and Facebook and Instagram completely melt down and turn not only on players, because that's a whole separate issue, but turn on their coaches because they can't land a guy? Does that really make the recruit want to come here? I've said my piece and I've had my rant. I just need Oklahoma Twitter and I need Oklahoma Instagram and Facebook to chill out a little bit. I need guys to take a step back and breathe. Trust me, who we got right now, it's going to be like we got a good core right now. It's going to be okay. We're going to be fine. Outside of 2021, or was it 2020, Lincoln Riley wasn't recruiting exponentially great either. He had a couple guys that hit, like Jalen Redmond and guys like that, but it's not like he was out there getting 5-star guys every class. So I don't know what the expectations are, but just like we had probably the wrong expectations at the beginning of the season, we have the wrong expectations now. We need to take a step back. We need to breathe, give the staff some time, allow them to do their thing, and everything will be okay. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. If you haven't already, please go ahead and hit that like and the subscribe button. It really helps me out. It really just helps content creators out in general. It's something completely free to you guys, but it means the world to content creators like myself and others. So thank you guys. Until next time, Boomer.